Okay, in this video, we're going to solve Battle of the Sexes. Battle of the Sexes has got to be the second most important game there is, behind only The Prisoner's Dilemma. It is not because it's hard to solve. This game is really, really easy to solve. That's not the point of the game. The point of the game is that it identifies a different type of a problem that emerges from these games. And so often also we think of games as being in conflict, like playing poker, me versus you. But that's not what games are. Games are just when we're interacting with people. And here's a game where there's absolutely no conflict whatsoever. It's a problem with cooperation, with coordination. So this game was introduced in the 1940s, so the language is a little dated, but this is the way it normally is presented, so bear with the dated language. We've got a man and a woman, and they like each other. They want to go out on a date, but it's the 1940s. They don't have cell phones. They're not sure where each other are going, and maybe even they do have cell phones, but they're not far enough along where they can call each other up and say, hey, let's meet up at this place. But they both do like each other, and they want to end up at the same place. So they have two choices of where they can go. The man can go to the boxing match or the ballet match. Okay, it's the 1940s. Apparently, that's what you do on a Friday night. They're just trying to decide which one to go to. And the man would rather go to boxing than ballet. The woman would rather go to ballet than boxing. But what's most important to each other is that they end up at the same place. Okay? So the best possible outcome for the man is that they both go to the boxing match. Second best would be they both go to the ballet. And if they go to different places, the man's so heartbroken that he's not going to get any enjoyment out of either one. So he'll get zero at the other places. And the same thing in reverse for the woman, except her favorite is the ballet and her second favorite is boxing. So that's our game. And this game's really easy to solve. That's not the point of the game. The point is to think about sort of like where this occurs in real life and where we're likely to go wrong because of this coordination problem. But let's solve it. We solve it the same way we solve any other normal form game, as we just underline best responses. So I'll do this once, and if that's confusing, just go back and review the video on how to solve any normal form game using best responses. So let's fix the strategy of the woman. Let's say boxing. And, again, the key thing to pay attention to is which payoff. So is the first number or the second number? But we're the man, and we're responding to the woman's strategy of boxing. So we believe the woman is going to go to the boxing match. And so as the man, I have a choice between going to boxing and getting 2 and going to ballet and getting 0. This is an easy choice. If I believe the woman's going to go to the boxing match, then the man should go to the boxing match. And so boxing is the best response to boxing. And so we underline that as the best response. So here I've gone through and underlined the best responses for each player. And again, if this is confusing, just go back to the video that shows how to underline best responses. But we see there are 2 places where both numbers have been underlined, 2 places that are mutual best responses. And so these are the Nash equilibria of the game. Boxing, boxing, and ballet, ballet. All right, so at this point, you might be a little frustrated. We're solving this game because we're trying to figure out what's going to happen. And so basically I've said, well, they might both go to the boxing match and they might both go to the ballet match. But that's the point. There's a problem here. They very well might miss each other because either one's reasonable. It's reasonable to pick boxing. It's reasonable to pick ballet. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to guess what the other person's going to do. They're trying to end up at the same place. So this is interesting. We're not in conflict here. We're not playing a game of poker. There's no winner. There's no loser. We're trying to coordinate. So even when we're on the team, we're trying to do the same thing. They're trying to end up at the same place. It's very easy to miss each other. So this is a problem of coordination. So try to think in your own life about where this comes up. So I like to think, so maybe I'm traveling in a city and my cell phone's not working and I get separated from my wife. Do I try to walk to her and find her? Or do I think she'll try to walk to me and find me? Or do I wait for her to come find me? Now, sometimes you're out there with a friend and this is easy. Suppose you have a friend who's always lazy. Okay, then it's easy. You know that they're going to sit down and you need to try to find your friend. But to think like a game theorist, we want you to think about, what does my friend think I'm going to do? So like, suppose you're normally lazy, but today you just happen to have a lot of energy. Normally you'd wait, but today you feel like walking and try to find your friend. Well, you should pause and be like, what does my friend think I'm going to do? And if your friend thinks you're lazy and you're going to sit down, maybe you should just sit down and wait for your friend to come get you.